All right. We are officially on air right now. We're going to get ourselves on the way right here as the Pro Tuning League is hosting a BMW gr3 Nürburgring shootout, which is Pro Tuning League actually hosts events pretty much open to everybody across the board. It doesn't matter if you're on a team, if you're not on a team, it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, all we do is just host different events, and for this week, it's actually the BMW gr3s, and we're having an 8-lap Nürburgring shootout, and we should be getting underway into the race in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Just want to get on board here and start watching some of these guys as they're making their laps around the track. AMS Optimal right now, we're actually on board here right now. He's actually got the fastest lap right now. He's 6 minutes 11.529. Knudsen 1984. He's got a lap time of 6:17. We have ORG powered by Ford. I'm not too sure what lap he's put down. This is not showing as of right now. But he's sitting in third. Friesen is in fourth. Or at least this is what it's showing me right now. As AMS Wrencher, I guess he's going to accept it as it is. We're going to be getting ourselves on the way very soon. So I'm going to just let all the drivers know to load up. And if any of you guys in the chat, speak up now if you need some more time. Otherwise than that, I'm going to fire this thing up. Let's get this race on the way. Get ready, everyone. Tell everybody best of luck and don't rage quit. As people tend to do that here, so hope everybody sticks to the wicket. Let everybody know that I'm starting 5, 4, 3. And that's it. We're going to get ourselves on the way right here, like I said. At the Nürburgring, it's going to be an 8-lap shootout. As AMS Optimal is the only one I believe that's actually chose the BMW Z4. And this is going to be pretty interesting. As NRT Nebraska, he's in the M6, he's in second place, he's an A+ driver as well. That's a 4 A+ drivers, that's good stuff. AMS Wrencher in third place, Knudsen 84, he's sitting in fourth place. ORG powered by Ford, he's sitting in fifth place. Friesen 6th, Fastjet in seventh, A Leon in eighth. But yeah, let's get ourselves on the way. This is going to be an 8-lap shootout. Very long races. AMS Optimals already took on the way. Change my camera type to variable because it is better view as these guys are racing. Hopefully everybody knows it's a very long race, so give space in between. Hopefully everything works out for the drivers. As Optimal's leading the way. This is making his way already down the hill as all these other guys are following. And Negrasso in second place. He's got a little taste of the grass. As AMS Rancher's right up behind him. Might be able to use a little bit of that draft. This Rancher's on the right hand side. Hopefully the NRT guy, he's be an A+ driver. I'm pretty sure he'll be clean enough, respected enough. So I believe he might try his best to give these AMS drivers a good little run for his money. We're sitting right now first and second place. Optimal, Rancher, followed by Negrasso. In third place, Knudsen in fourth by Ford. In fifth place. Followed by Freezer, A. Leon, Donkey Mule, with 1 speed. Briam 354. Drew 84, and it looks like he's had a little bit of a situation. We've also followed by Death's Legacy. Looks like Drew's cut the grass. Not really going the way how he wants. Let's get ourselves back up to the front and see what's going on right here. Is Optimal still leading the way as AMS Rancher. As you can see, it's not too far behind him. And these guys are teammates. So I'm pretty sure if they get close up on each other, I'm pretty sure they'll work alongside each other to keep each other going up until maybe lap 8. That's when they'll put the hammer down to see who could really collect all the beans, if you know what I mean. Third place, NRT. Oh, Negrasso, looked like he's actually pulled off and went onto the grass. So that's going to allow second and first place to actually pull a little bit of more of a gap. And that's actually put him into fourth place. As Knudsen actually, I think he might have claimed the penalty because of that. Because I believe he might have actually hit him after he spun out, because we do have contact penalties on, and it's unfortunate for him. But it's an 8-lap race, so I'm pretty sure he should be able to get rid of that before the total race is over. But that Z4 sitting up front, looking real good as AMS Rancher in that BMW M3. Is definitely following behind, trying to catch up. So we start getting into tricky parts of the track. We dip into the very tight part of the right there, guys. But yeah, not one of my favorite parts, but these guys go through it very smoothly. 0.3 of a gap, under half a second, around that. These guys are looking very good, very close within each other. Got a very good gap onto third place, 2.8 seconds. And fourth place is 5.1 seconds actually off pace. As you can see, he's actually from Portugal. Next driver to that will be OIG powered by Ford. He's sitting about 9.1 seconds off pace. This is just the first lap. Leon 17, Donkey Mule 18, Brian 21, so forth and so forth. His win 1 speed looked like he's collected a 1.4 second penalty. So that could be either from cutting the track or contact penalty. It seems like he's not really going his usual way today. His Freezer looked like Freezer's gotten a little bit on the grass as well. Let's make our way back up to the front. As you can see, Optimal still leading the way, but it's not very like what we would call the most comfortable lead. As you can see, AMS Rancher is right up in his draft. talking about draft, that's where it's going to come very important, as Optimal knows full well when they make their way down this far back straightaway before the last couple corners, before they can start the second lap, that draft is going to be kind of more favorable towards Renshaw. As you can see, that time is going to cut down. Can Renshaw make his way up there, or is he just going to allow just Optimal just to lead the way and just follow through? A little nose nudge. Just as I thought. Keep it clean, keep it competitive, keep that 1-2 going. Doesn't really matter at the end of the day. As long as you guys keep sitting like that, everything should be pretty good. But third place and fourth place, they're actually just starting to make their way onto the second lap. The fuel wear and tire wear is on. So fuel wear, we have it on ×2 and tire wear on 1. So that way there you should be able to get a good, fairly decent amount of laps in. And that's also going to play a part as well with first place and second place. If they get a fairly decent, comfortable enough-ish lead over third place, fourth place, and fifth, they could somewhat start leaning out their motors. And that would allow them to save more fuel. So when it comes to pitting, that they wouldn't have to actually add so much to their cars, and these guys are pretty good at doing these type of races, so I'm pretty sure they'll have it pretty much worked out. The Z4, as you can see, as if you're watching from my point of view, actually has just a little bit more burn on the fuel than what it's very close. Tire wear is pretty much almost identical between the two. Knudsen pretty much got just as much as fuel as these two. Actually, a little bit more. Actually, his tire wear is about as equivalent as well. So, but also we got to think of it as well. We're talking about 3 different cars. Fuel wear in the Z4 seems to be more fuel than the M3, and definitely between those two, actually burning more than the M6. What I have logged here, showing this race as it's happening right now in front of you. ORG powered by Ford. He's got similar tire wear, but he has a little bit more fuel wear. He's sitting in 4th place. Go back as Drew's just about ready to actually make his second lap, so he's fell a little bit off the pace. He's had dirt on his tires. But big ups to Drew 84, even being part of the event. Sitting on board right now, Death's Legacy. Sitting in 12th place. Good tire wear. Fuel wear is doing alright. He's out there having fun, and that's all really matters. You got Freezer sitting in 11th place. He's got the M6. Geo Monkey's actually sitting back in 10th place. I don't believe he's had enough practice. That might be the reason why Geo Monkey might be sitting in the position where he is. We don't know if he's had any other issues. Don't know if he crashed or anything like that. But moving up to 9th place as we got Win 1 Speed, still trying to work off that penalty that he collected earlier. And it's going from 1.4 seconds down to 0.8 of a second. As you can see, Geo Monkey is actually hot on his trail. And 8th place overall right now. Bree, 31 seconds off. And her Pepsi designed M6. Trying to catch up Donkey Mule, who's actually got a 3.2 second gap on him right now. And you have Leon with a 2-second gap over him. And NRT Negrosso, not too sure what's happened there. He must have some issues again. But yeah, he's fell right off the pace. He's actually sitting for an A+ driver. He's actually 18.7 seconds off lead driver, AMS Optimal. And ORG powered by Ford, believe it or not, he's roughly got about a 1 second pretty much got a 1 second gap. He's even getting even closer now. His NRT just actually just covered half a second just now. So that battle for 4th place is going to get very interesting very shortly. If NRT keeps it somewhat clean, he should be able to use the draft when he gets on that far back straightaway and make his way around ORG powered by Ford. And Knudston, 1984. He's actually 4 seconds off of the front runner, AMS Optimal. So he's actually not too far off pace of these other drivers. As first and second place, still sitting within the half second the whole way through. As I'm pretty sure the replay of this race is going to be very interesting. I can't wait to actually see the replay from these guys' view. As Optimal, I know full well, he knows that Wrencher's actually closer than last time coming up into the section right here, so his draft might play more of a part towards Wrencher right now, as he's a little bit more tucked in. And you can actually see 3rd place. He's actually on that far back straightaway with him, so he actually has both the AMS boys in his eyesight. But if I'm right, AMS Wrencher will work alongside Optimal and just keep him pushing to try and actually help his teammate driver to kind of get a little bit more of a gap away from 3rd place, who's trying to reel in that 4+ second gap, which is now turned into a 5 second gap. And that might actually be because a little bit of a bumper to bumper action from Wrencher to Optimal to help get him up and going. But fastest lap time right now was Wrench, and Knudston just took it. Just time was a 6:07.525, and yeah, 1984, man, he took it 6:07.341. Very interesting, man. So the pace is definitely there from the 3rd place driver. And it's very interesting because it's 3 totally different cars. In 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 3 totally different BMWs, but with like completely identical, similar pace. As Optimal did 6:07.5, French 6:07.525. So 0.2 of a second between those 3 drivers on their 2nd lap. I mean, that's pretty amazing from these, like I said, from these top 3 drivers. Fourth place, still struggling to try and get away from ORG powered by Ford, who's sitting in 5th place. But the gap between those drivers is obviously broadened out as NRT was able to make his way around Ford, as NRT made quite a few mistakes early in the race, which has kind of caused him to be on podium. But this is an 8-lap race, so you never know. I mean, it's race ain't over until that checker flag. I've been in many situations myself doing pro racing, and being in 1st place, and I think I was some of my motorcycle racing career, I was leading every single race. I won every single race until the very last race, and my battery died on my bike and I came last place. So basic moral of the story is you never know until that checker flag drops. But, competition between 1st and 2nd place, still very close, very clean between the 2 drivers, as Optimal is actually sitting on a purple lap on that section. I mean, this is getting even faster and faster. But we also got to remember, we do have tire wear, but their fuel tanks are getting lighter. He's making that Z4 look very good here. So, myself personally, I think it's brazen, but I think it's a very, very smart decision. The setup he has. So kudos to Optimal. Still sitting in first place as he's having a good time with his mate Wrench, second place. As Optimal caught a little bit of grass. Ooh-wee. Passing the grass, they say. But you don't want to have that not when you're leading. So hopefully he could get that off his tires before these next few sections right here, as he knows what he's coming up to. I'm pretty sure he's feeling it out. He knows what time it is. AMS Wrench is going to give him more than enough room so they don't get tied up, but not too much to where he don't get out of the draft. But second place is actually sitting about 5.6 seconds now. It seems like Geo Monkey has got caught up on win one speed. Let's go back. So he had basically apologized to win one speed. Win one speed, so got rid of that penalty, and he's about 1 minute and 8 seconds off of pace to the front runners. Brienne, she's got about a 20-second gap on win one speed. And she's sitting in 8th place still. Leon, representing ORG. He's got a 46 seconds and counting gap onto first place. Donkey Mule. He's 42 seconds off pace. ORG Power by Ford, 33 seconds. 22 seconds NRT. And like I said, Knudston, 1984. His gap is starting to get a little broader. He looked like he got a little bit loose there on that section. But this is going to start getting very interesting lap-wise, because what are you going to do? As the fuel is starting to wear down, we're on our third lap. It's going to be an 8-lap race. When are people going to pit? That's going to be the question. How many laps are you going to do? From what I see, oh my God, here we go. AMS Wrencher, he actually went for it. As he's now starting to lead the race for the first time. I think he might actually take fastest lap too with that. Oh, pull 0.11 second off. Oh no, my apologies. That was actually faster. I was actually sitting on Optimal when I saw that. Optimal was actually 0.11 of a second off his last lap. But with AMS Wrencher actually throwing down a 6:07. But basically back to what I was saying about the fuel and all that. When these guys start burning out their fuel, and I mean, really not the tire where they're really worried about too much. But when they start leaning it out, and as this lap is over and when they get to the next lap, are they going to take that risk? Or are they just going to decide to pit early and not take the risk? As we are pretty much getting close to a quarter of a tank left, and we are on the 4th lap. So are these guys going to start fuel mapping early or late? You know, the last thing you want to be doing is choosing the wrongest time to start fuel mapping and saving fuel, and come up to that 5th lap where you think that you're good. And these guys are pros at it. I'm pretty sure they got it covered. AMS Optim was actually starting to fall a little bit off of pace, off of Wrench, as that gap's starting to grow right now. But the tire wear between these two drivers, believe it or not, you would As you can see, AMS Wrencher has just a smidge more tire wear on the fronts and even on the backs. But the fuel between the two, the M3 has got about a good little bit more fuel wear than what the Z4 has been throwing down so far. And the M6, sitting in third place, has used the least amount of fuel between the three cars. Fourth place, NRT Negroso. He's 25 seconds off pace. He's an actually A+ driver. But kudos to him for coming out and being part of the Pro Tuning League gr3 BMW Nürburgring shootout. Make our way back up to the front as AMS Wrenchers making that Apex Motorsports BMW M3 look very sharp right now. As you can see, that throttle control in through these sections right here with a 1.094 faster section there. So you can definitely tell this car is definitely picking up some pace as it's getting lighter. But we all know when these cars start getting lighter, they do start getting a little bit more looser, especially with that tire wear. So your hand and eye control has to be a little bit more on par as you start running these laps down. But it's going to get even faster because when you think of it, they've already hit the halfway mark. So when they decide to go in for their tires, if they choose to change the tires, or when they decide to pit, it's going to be very interesting because the laps will only get faster on fresher rubber with less fuel in the tank too. So we might see some laps that might get in the 6 minutes 5 seconds with tire and fuel wear. Just to let people know that are watching, when you have tire and fuel wear, the lap times are at least 2 to 3 seconds off pace of a open lobby online with no tire wear or fuel wear at all. So if a 605 gets thrown down tonight, then we'll be pretty much on par, about as much as you really should be able to get out of these cars. And that section right there, I don't know if I should say it, but mercy, 2 point something and some change. So that's it's getting faster and faster. So it's that BMW M3 is really starting to make it a lot more harder for that Z4. As I know AMS Wrencher, as he's on that hot lap, he's going to try his best to get down in those 605s, and I believe he's going to do it in these last couple sections. If he gets these braking points right, he'll definitely be in those 605s. But this is the question: is he going to take the risk with the fuel that he has? As you can see, he's about halfway through of a quarter of a tank. So me personally, I don't know if I will take the risk. But as he's racing, the stuff will notify him. It will let him know. And nope, he's not going to take the risk. Smart man. Very smart man. Optimal as well. He's decided to pit as well. Being where they started in the race, they would actually be, when they pit, they will kind of pit where they started. So that will put Optimal in front. But depending on the amount of fuel, as you can see, Optimal has more fuel than Wrench. So Wrench is actually going to be in the pits just a little bit longer. So that might actually affect his time as he's filling up right now. Optimal's collecting his fuel. And Wrench is already out. Optimal was able to get 0.5 of a second of his time off during that pit section. And as you can see, cold tires, so don't forget, drivers. Even though you're on fresh rubber, you ain't got the heat in them tires. But yeah, these guys are sitting there, got the racing super sauce. AMS Rancher, he chose to get fresh tires. And Optimal, looks like cold tires got a hold of him a little bit there. He'll be able to scrub it out. He's still sitting in second place, but that's going to allow Knudsen 1984 to try and gain some of that time. But this is going to be more of a problem for this third place driver, because he actually didn't change tires. I think he was trying his best to gain some of that lost time, as he did, because he's only 3.5 seconds off of second place right now. But that's going to really bite him in the end, because even though his tires are somewhat hot, when it starts getting onto that 7th, going onto 8th lap, AMS Optimal should be able to really just pull away. Yeah, and unfortunately for that little mistake that Optimal had made, has put him 5.4 seconds off of pace, off to the front runner, AMS Rancher. That's alright. Just stay focused, my brother, and you should be good. But third place right now, he's 3.2 seconds and counting. He has definitely a lot more tire wear than Optimal, so Optimal shouldn't really be too much in a worry mode of him too much, as he's starting to spin out a little bit more, and that gap's actually closed down quite a bit. Now I'm not too sure if Optimal's had another issue, but that's caused him to be 7.4 seconds and counting off of the lead. And that's, I believe right now, that's allowed third place to actually get up in the draft now. And that's going to be kind of an issue. But once the heat and the dirt gets off these tires, it should be somewhat golden. So fingers crossed, hope he can get the dirt off these tires and get some heat in his compounds in this racing super sauce. And put a little bit of a gap in between himself in that third place car in that M6. But AMS Rancher, very comfortable lead, as he's been able to pull 7.5 second gap over second place, which is unfortunate for Optimal, as he I think the cold tires got the better half of him, but I know he's gonna get his head back into the game. As you can see already, he's pulled a little bit more of a gap already onto third place. And trying to keep that gap broad enough to where he's not actually in the draft. Donkey Mule in 4th place actually chose to stay out on the track. Me personally, I don't think that was a smart idea, but he might be fuel saving. No, we don't know, but he is definitely on the red on his fuel, and he's approximately about halfway through his. As you can see, ORG powered by Ford, he's already filled up his tank. He's sitting in 5th place, and he's got fresh rubber. So that 4th place spot might be his for the taking, as Donkey Mule would end up having to be forced to pit because of the fuel wear. But let's get ourselves back up to this battle between 3rd and 2nd place. Knudsen 1984 is really trying his best to try and claim some of that real estate on second place driver right here, AMS Optimal. So one of the most hardest parts right here is going to be this next coming up section. As Optimal was just collected a little bit of a penalty, but he's already eaten it up almost. I'm pretty sure he knows full well driving the M6 that's right behind him. He is close enough for draft. So if Optimal stays pretty much in the center of the track as where he is right now, that'll be the best spot for him, so that way there, if the M6 gets a good run on him, it doesn't cause any issues. But the speed of that Z4 is actually very impressive. As the 1984, he's going to try and shoot up on the outside. Optimal definitely did not leave that door open too much, as he closed it very fast, as these guys are starting to make their way onto their 6th lap. 2 more to come after this. And the battle between 2nd and 3rd place is starting to get very intense, as there's only a 0.6 of a second gap between 2nd and 3rd place. But the gap between 1st and 2nd place is getting broader because of that battle. All that's doing is just allowing AMS Wrencher to make that BMW M3 sing away as he started making his way down the hill to the uphill section. And he's actually on the purple section already. Like I was saying earlier about tire wear, the amount of fuel in the tank. Maybe not this lap. I think you might see a 606 in here. I think the next couple laps after that, or the next lap, or the next lap after that, we're definitely going to see a 605 at the pace he's driving at right now. He looks very comfortable, very complacent, very relaxed. But I know he's definitely on edge, and he's pushing his M3 very hard to represent EMS, Apex Motorsports, very well right now. He almost got somewhat loose, but he was able to collect it back very quick. But the battle between 2nd and 3rd places, we can go back to that. As you can see, AMS Optimal still got that 0.1 of a penalty, but 3rd place, hey man, I don't know what happened there, but he's pulled some gap between 1st and 2nd place, 1.2 seconds, so that's more of a plus for him, even though he has that penalty, which I'm pretty sure he'll eat up very soon. He's got 2 more laps to get rid of it. ORG powered by Ford. He's a minute and 3 seconds off of our lead driver, Wrencher. But he's sitting in 4th place. He's doing pretty good as well. In his Quaker State livery BMW M3. And Donkey Mule now, he's got more than enough fuel. He's got fresh rubber, sitting in 5th place. Leon in 6th place. Geo Monkey got a 0.4 of a second penalty, but he's sitting in 7th place. Brienne 354, or as we all know as Bree, she's sitting in 8th place, and she's obviously on her fresh rubber, and she's got her tank and all that sorted out. Death's Legacy, he's still sticking to the wicket. He hasn't rage quitted or anything like that. Big shout out to Crack as well. He's doing his thing out there. He's also driving in the BMW M3. Still on lead lap. He always doubts himself. Like I said, kudos to him as well. He's not a pro driver, but as we call mid-pack pro. And he's out there representing, doing very well. Freezer sitting in 10th place in the M6 in his 7-up, done-up livery. Drew 84 still sticking to the wicket. He had issues very first lap. very first couple corners, but he's still out there 5 laps in, still racing, still having fun. That's what it's always about, right? Once again, like I said, this is a pro tuning league, and when we host these type of events, it's not a team thing. It's open for everybody across the board. So if you're from any particular team, if you want to represent your team and maybe challenge other people on other teams, or have your little call-out, personal call-outs on races that we host, this is the place to come. And if you have any ideas, you can hit myself up, Race Bikes Card 77, or you can also message Brianne 354. Hit us up and let us know if you're interested in any pro tuning league races. Like I said, all our races is full out tuning, no BOP. As we want to see who's the real kingpins of all these cars that we see in GT Sport across the world and nation, etc. So, but looks like Drew had fell right off the pace, so he's eased off the throttle. So he's allowed first, second, and third place to make their way across. As second place now has actually got now a little bit more of a broader gap onto third place, 2.5 seconds. Still holding on to that 0.1 of a penalty, which isn't going to be too much of an issue as we start getting closer to the end. But as you can see on that start-finish line straightaway, you can actually see AMS Wrencher with that 7-second gap. All 3 drivers are actually on that same far back straightaway. AMS Wrencher's making his way down. Optimal's on the top. 1984, he was just making his way up. So this lap time's going to be very interesting, as I just saw Optimal's section there. So it's going to be very interesting. I believe we might actually see as AMS Wrencher goes through. Like I said, 606, but Optimal, we are going to see a faster time of a 605.613. Hold on to those apples, huh? Balls to the wall with AMS Optimal with that Z4. Collecting that fast lap time with tire and fuel wear of 6 minutes and 5 seconds. Unbelievable. So that Apex Motorsports Z4 is definitely sitting on edge as he's going to get himself ready for his 7th lap. But that gap is still 7.2 seconds. That's still quite a lot of real estate to claim on your lead driver right here, AMS Wrencher. This is making his way down my most favorite sections where you come through wide open. Oh, I love it. So I prefer to come through here. Wrench comes down into second place. Potman into third, and he's got a 0.2 of a second purple. This is what I was saying earlier about these lap times, man. The tire wear is not as aggressively burnt out as what it was when the fuel wear was this low previous in the race. So we definitely know we're going to see some faster laps as we're going through another purple section. And Optimal, he's sitting on purple too. It's going to be very interesting between these 2 drivers. And that third place car, he's actually still close enough to where he might be able to still get in if either one of these drivers hopefully don't make a mistake. But they know the deal, as I've spoken to them personally, how to just relax, drive your race. If you know the car is going to get loose in a certain spot, don't drive it there. So it's just pretty much that simply said than done. But I know Optimal, he's not too stressed over it as well. He's not really bothered too much about that third place driver because he also does know that that third place driver, their tires are actually in some pretty bad shape because he actually didn't change his tires when he pitted, which is actually really starting to cost him right now, as I said earlier. and he's starting to actually eat grass just as I said that. So that's actually going to cost him more time, and all that's going to do is just allow AMS Optimal clear more real estate away from that third place. As now he's actually got dirt on the tires, and his tires are really starting to be very, very worn. Is he going to stick to the wicket and just run his last and final lap when he gets to it on those tires? I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure he might, because the gap between him and fourth place. He might as well just go for it. But Optimal, his tire wear is obviously nowhere near as that, and his gap between him and first place has actually gotten a lot closer. So this race might actually start getting very interesting. His AMS wrenches, I know he's doing his best to focus as much as possible, but if he does look up on that screen there, he could see that gap between himself and Optimal is starting to close like a London Bridge. This drawbridge is closing down, as we're going to be getting under 6 seconds at this pace if it keeps going this way. But AMS Optimal, like I say, he's doing very well in that Z4 lap time wise. I believe that one mistake that he had has really cost him a lot of time. Almost the amount of time between first and second place right now. And I don't know if I should say his section right there. I mean, that is unbelievable. His time where he is right there. I mean, 1.4 seconds faster. These lap times, like I said, they're getting faster and faster as this fuel is getting low, and Optimal's really starting to get like really right in the groove of this car. It's actually eating up good second and counting. As AMS Rancher, he's starting to make his way on the long right hand sweeping onto that far back straightaway. Max speed, as he always say. I need speed. Get that M3 gun. And as I'm on board the M3, you can actually see that Z4 in the background. And we might actually see a 6:04 or even a 6:03 lap time by Optimal. If he keeps going at this pace, this is unreal. To be, like I said, full tire wear with tire and fuel wear. I mean, the fuel wear is understandable, but just the way how the rooms work, the lap times, you won't be able to get the same as non-tire or fuel wear online lobby race. And he's collected a 6:04 too. So I'm pretty sure this exact same setup, if you went to a time trial lobby, you should get a sub 6 easy. See the way how he's pushing this car. And you can see Wrench further up in the chicane. And Optimal, like you can see, he's definitely on point. He's trying his hardest to catch up that Wrench as he's leading. Doesn't really matter though at the end of the day. I mean, they are officially really on the same race team. And Optimal on another purple section. But yeah, AMS Rancher, he's still got that somewhat comfortable lead. Still 6 seconds and counting. He's actually brought it back up, so he's actually starting to put a little bit more of the hammer down. And he's sitting on the purple section right now. So even AMS Rancher might actually even throw down a 6:03. Get very, very interesting to see who can actually show who's boss when it comes to the fastest lap at the end of the day. Doesn't really matter. I mean, a win is more important than the fastest lap. But Myself as a racer myself, bragging rights are sometimes more important. If you're yourself as a racer, if you should know this, we don't really care about trophies too much. It's more of just the point of the bragging. You could be able to hold on to it. So the battle for the fastest lap is definitely on this final lap. As AMS Rancher still leading, 6.3 second gap to AMS Optimal in that Z4, and that gap's even got more broader to third place. I believe he's just accepted it. This is obviously his tire wear, but he's sitting on podium. So big shout out to Knudsen doing his thing. He's going to be on the podium spot with the AMS drivers. Yeah, this final lap is starting to get very interesting. As AMS Rancher is a little bit off his pace, 0.1 of a second, but he has more than enough room to make that up. And Optimal's almost gotten rid of that penalty. But fuel. It's going to start getting very interesting. As it looks like both drivers had a little bit of an issue. As it looks like, unfortunately for AMS Optimal, he actually completely lost it. And AMS Rancher, he's got a little bit of sand and dirt in the tires, and it's going to start between both drivers. It looks like he's actually waiting for Optimal. But Optimal is actually, he might actually run out of fuel. So he might need to start actually leaning his car out as much as possible. Not too sure what happened to AMS Rancher. Unless something different might be actually happening in the game, but at least with what I'm watching right here live in front of me, it's not looking the way how it should be. So what I have here right now is AMS Optimum leading the way right now, but it's going to get very interesting. Like I said, he's very low on fuel. He's going to have to lean that machine out as much as possible, but he's got a broad enough gap in between himself and second place. There's AMS Rancher, he's pulled off to the side. I'm not too sure exactly what's happened. Oh, race is over. Okay, unfortunately from what Wrench is saying, his game is broken, so not too sure what happened there. But from what I'm broadcasting here live right now, we have AMS Optimal still leading the way right now. Bad break for AMS Rancher. Looks like he's had some issues. But as we can definitely see, he was definitely representing Apex Motorsports very well. But his teammate driver, AMS Optimal, on that far back straightaway, he's going to be taking first place by the looks of it, as long as he takes his last little section done. And who would have thought? The BMW Z4 of AMS Optimal as he gets himself ready for these last sections. And I mean, look at the fuel wear. Oh man, this is what I love about racing. Put it down to the edge as he makes his way around the very last corner. To take that checkered flag, AMS Optimal. Second place, Knudsen in 1984 makes his way down the hill on the far back straightaway. As he's getting himself ready for the last section. And he will be collected second place overall. And at the end of the day, this race is going to be completely over. And that's going to be it. What an action-packed race. But as you can see right here, on my aim as optimal for the win, right here for the Pro Tuning League BMW gr3 Nürburgring shootout race. I'd like to thank everybody who's watching or who watches this in the future. And I'd like to thank all the drivers who obviously who participate in the Pro Tuning League races. Like I said, if you do watch this and you do want to get involved, you can contact me online, Race Bikes Cards 77, or you can contact Brianne. As you can see on the screen there, to get involved in full proper Pro Tuning League races. Once again, thank you very much everybody for being a part of this event. And until next time, take care.